Greetings there, fellow drillers. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Oxygen Not Included Volcanea, episode 27, Drilling for Oil. Alright, the potential load of this network is very, very low. It's only 260 watts, so easily I can add the grill and the refrigerator to that. What I'm trying to do is free up this area so it can become the nature reserve. So the idea behind this... Is there enough room for another bedroom down here? What is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? No, there's not. The idea behind the nature reserve is to allow a pip, a wild pip, to plant in the reserve, and the reserve to be roughly here, which is small enough to meet the requirements of the nature reserve, and then I also left enough natural tiles in here so that the pip can easily plant the, 4 plants required to meet the reserve? Yes, 4 wild plants. So we already have 1 that I never dug up, and the pip will be able to plant the other 3. They don't... pips don't like to plant, like, more than 3 seeds adjacent to one another, but because I have so much space around here, that's really not going to be much of an issue. Alright, do I have a fridge? Cool. Let's just copy and paste. Oh, I should have kept the ration box, but in here we want muck and nutrient. I'll put them as 9, put this as 9, and then put this to 1, just so that I don't unrefrigerate my stuff. Alright, size of this room is 65. Nature Reserve's maximum size is 120, so easily it meets within the maximum size requirements. It's actually somewhat counterproductive to move the meal seeds that I dug up, but I'm going to anyway. I'll probably only have mealwood in here. Yeah, I'll probably only have mealwood in there just to keep it simple. Right, buddy? Yeah. Oh, so here is the water minimum working, right? So here's we hit a minimum threshold where we don't have any more fresh water to filter. So it stopped the flow because it threw a red signal through a NOT gate, keeping water in here so that it doesn't empty out. Because an empty reservoir won't allow... germs are only killed when they're exposed in a reservoir to chlorine gas, so this is like a failsafe for a minimum. Looks like all of my water is still good. And we're about to actually get more incoming water, so soon there'll be a lot more to filter. Right now. So this water is going through the waste line here. This is the wastewater line. Alright. So the other thing we're going to want... Oh, we can't reach that, can we? So they only plant things that have a low hardness. I forget the hardness number. It's like, what, 10? No, 100? I forget the hardness for pip planting, but I know that dirt, algae, and even sandstone is not hard enough to stop them. And then we are also going to want a storage bin in here as well. So I'll put it right there. And this storage bin will then have the pip eggs and also the, and let me just print up the pip eggs. Have the pip eggs and the seeds, the wild seeds that I want planted by wild pips. So critter egg, 9 pip, and then also... Well, we'll move the pip eggs first, and then I'll eventually move the seeds. So there's the pip eggs incubating passively. And then let's put in some seeds for them to plant. For now, on first pass, I am just going to plant a... Because I don't think there's space for arbor trees. I do have arbor acorns. If you do want like a wild arbor orchard, you can vote on that. You can propose that yourself. But first pass is just going to be some mealwood. Have them plant mealwood. So then what you want to do is you want to put the mealwood seeds in here. That's probably more than enough. Dump it, and then make sure that mealwood seeds aren't allowed anywhere else, so that no one sweeps them up and then pulls them away from the pips to be able to plant it. So now I'm just pasting the do not sweep up mealwood seed requirements, and these mealwood seeds will just sit here, waiting for the pips to, I think my dupes... Oh no, they dropped them over here. So there's 31 seeds. So I only need 4 planted. Oh, also I should close this door. This Sutok doesn't get any more oxygen? True. Good observation. There was a bridge there that I didn't want anymore, and I killed it. Okay. So, the nature reserve is in progress. All I really have to do at this point is wait, and it will get made. And then once the pips are done, I can leave these pneumatic doors open all the time to not have my duplicants slow down for the doors. The reason the doors are there is so that it contains where the pips are allowed to move, so that they don't wander off and do other things that I don't want them to do. So that part's done. We'll have another one. Here we go. It is up. Is YodaCam still paused? Probably, because I always forget to do that. Oh, let's have the high signal be like at 30. So it keeps at least 20 and then goes back up to 30. Will pips mess with mounted wall plants? I don't know. Ashiel, thank you for the resub. All right. So what do you think I should do? That'll be up to you. I think in the meantime, it would be not such a bad idea to try to get petroleum for the liquid locks. I've been working on that. We'll see if I can't make a little bit more headway. Pips don't dig up already planted plants. Yeah, what I don't want them to do is I don't want them to grab seeds and, like, plant them where I don't want them. Although that wouldn't be too much of a problem because I could just dig it up. Alright, what's backing up here now? Because of the priority. Yeah, I see. Because of this bridge. Let's snip, and I'll correct that. I deprioritized the filter loop due to that error there. Or not even error, just like a design flaw. I would rather have the loop be prioritized, so. We have a little bit of a tie. If, oops. Looks like metal refining. It's gonna be the winner. almost done fixing this up. No, 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 no. What? Oh, yeah, technically, yeah. This will be, nope, plumbing. This will be slightly less attractive, but will work better. They should be fixing it tomorrow. I'll just stick this as a 9, so it's one of the first things they do. Oh, you delivered and then... Oh, I guess it wasn't technically work time. No! Stop going backwards! Why are you going backwards? Stop feeding. Thank you. It needs a bridge for direction? Is that the case? What is my smooth brain missing here? I think that might be the case. They're just so fussy. Oh wow, okay. It honestly is tied, fossils and metal refining. We'll have a bit of a runoff then. I left it up while I was trying to correct some problems and... Is this now sending like polluted water the wrong way? Here, I'll just stare at the ambient germs. Given that there has been no inflow, I suspect, no, this is not problematic. I'm so worried, because I've already caught errors twice. I'm gonna watch it like a hawk while you resolve that fallout poll. I'll give you one more minute to vote on that. I just want to see ambient germs above... Oh, there it goes. And, yep, okay. And water gets properly shunted off so as to not be germy. Good. So it does work. Still. As far as I can tell, there's no germs have made it in. I'm so paranoid about that now. Alright, I'm gonna stop looking at it. I feel like even the act of looking at it will make it screw up. It's not how the game works, but that's what I believe. So it seems to me like metal refining is maybe going to be the popular option here. Got it. So let's start refining metal. So in order to do that, I need some sort of liquid to act as a coolant. And it would also not be a bad idea for that same liquid to be part of the glass forge, so that they can use the same sort of pool of liquid. That's, I think, probably a good idea. So let me think about that real quick. So if I have a glass forge here... Alright. I'm going to move my metal refinery over. That's what I'm going to do. It will make more sense. I brainchilded it up here, but it's not worth explaining until you can actually just see it. Oh! Did I just see potentially germy water make it through the first pass? Is that because there's no space on the other end of this bridge and the water just like passes through the germ filter anyway? Meaning that I need like a holding reservoir back here just in case? That might be the problem I've been running into. That when there's no space for the water to go the closed valve path, it goes through the shutoff anyway? I don't know. I don't know. Alright, so we're moving our little metal refinery over one. So I can have a little bit more space to work with. And the idea is then to put insulated tile like this, so that I can have a spot for a water container. And maybe I'll just put airflow tiles at the bottom. In fact, I can put airflow tiles in the whole thing, because this doesn't all need to be insulated tile, because it's all within the hot room. So this is just so that I can run a glass forge at some point as well, because the glass forge will then have the molten glass, where we dump the molten glass into the same holding area, vat. There is one problem with that, however. So the idea that I wanted for this is to have a pitcher pump here, but we're going to need to move the snow because the pitcher pump's not going to fit unless I have it like that. But what I wanted to do is to have a holding pool of liquid to act as part of and also like a reservoir. Essentially, the idea is that the coolant you're using for your metal refinery needs to be cool. Because whatever liquid it is, if the liquid gets too hot, it phase changes into gas or refines itself. If it's oil, it can refine itself to petroleum, but if it's petroleum, it can, it can evaporate and phase change, and that will damage things. So, what I'm hoping to do is to store, like, liquid petroleum here, and then to have a gas pump, or a pitcher pump, rather, to be able to use it for whatever liquid loss I need, and then to also use it as a dumping pond for the molten glass, to serve multiple, purposes all at once. But that also means I'm going to need to move these storage bins, which is kind of annoying because I just set them up. But c'est la vie. We'll get them moved over. And I'll probably have to move them from here too, knowing me. Just... That's the idea. So I'll have the metal refinery running off of a liquid loop. So it has an intake of hopefully colder coolant, and then the outflow of hot coolant. And the hot coolant is then going to run through our ATN chill room, and then become less hot, and then go back into the holding pool. And the holding pool can be both, can be just a pool of water, but also I could have a liquid reservoir assigned to it as well, so that I can store a lot more petroleum if I want, or whatever coolant I'm using. Printables. Generic seeds is fine. Oh, somewhere we allow our mealwood seeds. Oh, right, these boxes up there are allowable storage. Oops. Alright, let's do that again. Because I saw they all got swept up. Oh, welcome, new first-time chatters. Glad to see some new faces here. Alright, so the reason I needed to move those boxes is for the pitcher pump to actually work. It's too low of a ceiling. So this has to be raised up, which meant the boxes built on it would need to be moved. Game says it's clean water. I still worry. I worry that every time I check, I'm going to notice errors. Couldn't I use a pump instead? Not if I want to bottle it up to add it to a liquid lock. Because a liquid pump puts it into a pipe, doesn't put it into a bottle for bottling for liquid locks. So I'm trying to design a system that allows for me to make petroleum-based liquid locks easily, because once I have a suit-docked space, I'm going to want a petroleum liquid lock there, and then if I want, you know, any other expansions to this refining setup, I'm going to want additional petroleum liquid locks as well. Probably. So we're going to raise the roof. This is definitely a case of oh, and they're also stranding themselves, which is relatively hilarious, but this is definitely a case of measure once, cut twice. Hey, Max. Thank you for the resub. Right, so that will allow us to have a pitcher pump here. And then I can also have a bottle emptier there as well. Speaking of measure once, cut twice, if I want a liquid vent, I'm gonna have to have this be even higher. If we're trying to dump the glass in it. So might as well have it be higher now. We might want the vent where we dump the water or dump the glass out to be made of steel. So I'm not going to set up the glass forge just yet, because whatever liquid vent that we add with our current available metals, that metal would melt, I think. So it makes sense to wait. And now we can't even reach our storage bins. Oh man, this is peak oxygen not included. You might not like how it looks, but this is peak performance. So I know that this has virtually nothing to do with the oil refinery, but ultimately it is required for the oil refinery because the oil refinery needs coolant, and I'm not going to get coolant out of nothing, out of thin air. I mean, one could even make the argument that, like, given the amount of coolant that I needed for the oil refinery, it might, or the metal refinery rather, it might make sense to actually run an oil line up here. Eventually, I'm going to want an oil line up here. No matter what, that's going to be a requirement, because if I need you know, if I'm going to want petroleum, I'm going to want oil. And if I want oil, I'm going to have to move it from way down here to where it's accessible. I am going to, as part of this project, it might seem out of scope, but I'm going to continue to search for oil wells or oil geysers or something like that. Because without a presence of oil wells or geysers, you know, there's only a finite amount of oil that I have access to. So I think it actually makes sense to search for that stuff. So let's go ahead and break this insulated tile cap. No, maybe not. Maybe I'll go through here. Because if I did manage to find, like, an oil geyser, you know, I could then, or an oil well, rather, then I would know that I would have a renewable source of oil somewhere, and I could design the plumbing system for the oil to account for that. Because if I don't, then I'm just having to constantly build new pumps everywhere, which is going to get pretty old pretty fast. So as far as the materials that we want for the metal refinery, probably we're going to be wanting to make steel. So we need multiple types of iron. We need the raw iron, the refined iron, the raw coal, the refined carbon, and the lime, and a box for steel as well. So there's a lot of materials in just metal refinery alone, which is why I have the extra space for storage containers. And at least for now, I'm trying to get to a point where I can mop this petroleum up. That is not what I did. There. So it might be possible to start mopping the petroleum up at this point. But I could also start to move crude oil. So the reason I don't like to use crude oil in the refinement loop is, like, crude oil at a certain temperature will evaporate, phase change and break pipes and be a problem. Oh, see, here, look, oil reservoir. I found one. I'm glad I continue searching. If that's the case, let's not even bother with that. Oh god, I got lost. Cool. So we found we found oil, a renewable source of oil. Not a particularly easy one to get access to, but that's fine. I did cut a little close here, yeah. This might fracture. You're right about that. Let's build around it to reinforce it, because I think you're right. I think that this is tempting fate. The other thing I'm going to need is an insulated pipe that, like, brings the oil up, which is, it's a kind of a long run. Insulated so that it doesn't bleed heat into the base, if I can help it. So I'm going to want a water line up here. So I'm actually going to set up the water line first. Because I know, you know, we're going to want liquid water up here, probably, right? If I'm trying to make a steam engine at some point. So we'll get that there. And then that means maybe on the east wall, I'll do oil. So I can do oil here, and then feed it over to the oil refinery that will be there. And then I'll likely also want liquid reservoirs to store the oil, and I'll have to figure out where to put those. I'm not going to figure out that right now. So let's go ahead and slowly paint a least ugly... Oh, I can't reach that. Least ugly oil line. In fact, I might want to use the backbone back here. Yeah, I'm going to want to do that. So, let me ignore everything that I just did. Because on careful analysis, it makes more sense to run oil around here. And then to maybe use the power... the power lines. Because we're already producing a fair bit of heat around the power plants. So it doesn't really matter that I add more heat. It's not a big deal. And then run the oil over here. It's a long way. It is a long... Oops. It is a long way, but it's out of the way, and the heat won't bleed as much. I think. That's not an accessible tile, though. How do I get... I mean, I could dig? Yeah, I could dig it. It's fine. Because I can dig this section out. It's on the other side of the locks, anyway. At this point, I would also say that this carbon skimmer is not needed either. Because it's outside of the locks, and I don't really care if there's oxygen outside the locks. Because I would like to use this area here for the oil line. So if I'm destroying the carbon skimmer, I can at least get rid of the polluted water line that I got there. And then the oil will come up here. And now it's a lot closer to the oil refinery. And then if I want to store reservoirs of oil, you know, I can work that into the system. Which means that I can put water here. That's a bit cleaner, I think. So these oil reservoirs, if you're wondering, in order to use them, what is it called? It's a utility? Yeah. No, I clicked the wrong one. Oil well. There it is. I might not have the right refined metal to run these, given the overheat temp. So I probably shouldn't be making it out of copper, but just to demonstrate, the way it works is let me open the plumbing, is you feed it water, and you get oil out of it. I think it describes it that way somewhere. Requirements: water and power, and a liquid intake pipe, and it dumps oil and heat. So, I would want to create like a pool of, you know, for the oil to pool up around here. Oh, God. The hell did that melt from? Oh, here, maybe? Dang it, I really thought I swept everything. Oh, it probably melted that. Where I changed for the glass forge. That's gross. I was a big guy to be careful that I don't destroy my liquid locks in the process of cleaning up all this liquid. Here we go. Liquid lock's intact. The mesh tile water holder filled up, I bet, in this process. Oh well. Learn my lesson. When you dig ice, haul it immediately, or you're gonna have some mess to clean up. I don't want any of it. Let's have some barbecue, though. Don't I already have an oil reservoir at the bottom of my first oil mound? Nope. I don't see one. Do you see one? This is a fossil. There could be one here, but not that I see. There's steam here, which is a weird thing to find. I mean, means there could be a source of water. Yeah, no, there's no. It was a fossil. Yeah, it was the fossil that you saw. Got it. I'm pretty sure I would have known if there was oil, because I would have celebrated. It's always nice to find. All right, so that insulated plumbing line is going to take a while to make, because it requires a lot more materials for its installation. I'll just run it like that. The other issue that I'm going to run into is this, like, single wide line will also need water to make use of the oil well. So I'm going to have to widen this, but widening this means also potentially messing with the either the magma or the ice. Way more likely to mess with magma. I mean ice over magma. Because I don't really want to be mining towards the magma. But yeah, I mean, that's obviously another issue, is we're going to need two lines here, one for water and one for oil. And I only really have the oil line going right now. Oh, come on. I'm up, and then immediately more crap melts. Alright. Sweep that right now. Stop it from melting on me. Well, that's... Where the hell? Come... Oh, Jesus. Alright, you know... There we go. Just wall it up there and it will stop happening. What's happening is, like, the bottom of this is just melting off and dripping, and then it just keeps going everywhere. And it's very annoying, because it requires a lot more cleanup. This is still a liquid lock, by the way, but I'm going to want to add more water to it. It's a liquid lock because there's liquid here. So if you take a look at the gases, this little spot of liquid is stopping the chlorine from leaking out. But it's far safer if the whole lock is engaged. For the well, it's a complex idea, but would it be feasible to create a corridor with insulated tiles on both sides to create a vacuum? It would be. To create a vacuum around the magma, sure. You can always use vacuums in that way. It's, not a very time-viable one, though. I mean, you have to think, I'm trying to get X amount of projects done in 4 hours. So certain projects are going to require, like, creating a massive, complex, vacuum-sealed magma tube thingy mabobber is how I'm going to phrase that. You know, I'm going to clock that at, like, a 20-hour project. So, unless you want the next, like, 4 streams or 5 streams to be exclusively me trying to, like, isolate the heat from the magma. Which I don't suspect anyone wants to watch. Then, yeah, it's a non-viable idea. That's something to always keep in the back of your head, is, like, just because it can be done doesn't mean it should be. So I don't believe a reason to keep lime anywhere but right outside the metal refinery. Same with refined iron. So refined metal for iron should be here. And then raw mineral iron I'm going to store here as well. And then we're also, for steel. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to stock for steel. So for steel, we want raw iron, refined iron, lime, and then carbon and, or refined carbon. So that's consumable ore, refined carbon. And then also consumable ore coal, because the coal goes through a kiln and becomes refined carbon. So I'm just putting everything that we're going to need for this, you know, in boxes around here. Yeah, I really don't need to knock an idea. I just want to reality check ideas so that it, you know, you understand why I wouldn't be receptive to taking on mega projects of that nature unless they were voted upon. And I made it very clear to the audience the time requirements to do said project. Because, like, there's a lot of crazy mega projects that you'll see, like, especially on YouTube videos. Not so much on stream, because, again, I think they're really boring. You'd have to make a supercut. But I've definitely seen a lot of videos of, like, really interesting projects for Oxygen Not Included, but given the time requirements to make them, it makes way more sense to do it as, like, a YouTube video, and then to edit it. Thank you for tuning in to Oxygen Not Included Volcanea, which originally streamed live on Twitch July 13th. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my gaming community, Rhadamant.com also has my link to Discord, as does the description to this video. Thank you so very much for watching, and a special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. Hope to catch you in next episode or upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow duplicates.